Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, obviously episode 164. And obviously in this one, we are going to be talking about the massive point away at Palace, and then obviously we'll be getting into the rescheduled game between us versus Bournemouth, obviously at their ground. But like always, I'm joined with my dad. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, all good, mate. Hope everyone's cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big up to everyone that's waiting. A few people waiting before we went live, so big up to yourselves. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So, yeah, like I say, Palace took them on, as we all know. You know, going into it, obviously, you thought maybe, Dad, it could be like the Sheffield United game we had earlier on in the season, a 3-2, goals galore. I said a narrow defeat for us, which it looked like it could have been. Not the exact same score, but could have been. But it wasn't to be, which was obviously more positive. And if we get a positive result instead of what I said, I'll take it. And yeah, obviously the lineup was as follows: Kaminsky in goal, Osho, Menji, and Burke at the back. Exact same back three as what I went with there. I had a feeling Osho would play, even though he had that injury, obviously from the game where he had to come off. Doughty and Kabore as the wing backs. Barkley and Clark's obviously we stuck with that. And then the front three was Chong, Chio, and Morris. Again, the exact same as what I said there as well. So there weren't really complaints for me from the lineup. Do have my doubts about Kabore, but to be fair, he was decent in this game. Obviously we'll get into individual ratings and that later, but yeah, I thought he was pretty decent in this game. There was a yellow card that he done, which I was a bit frustrated with, but other than that, to be fair, it's probably one of his best games for us, if I'm being totally honest. And then obviously the bench was Berry, Hashioka, Krul, Ruddock, Nelson, Pysol, Shea, Townsend, Woodrow. So when you do look at that bench, you can tell there are a lot of players out. No disrespect to like Pysol and but a lot of youngsters, Shay's on the bench, two keepers. That tells you, that we are, a little bit in the mud when it comes to defensive just injuries in general, shall I say. So yeah, but overall, decent lineup, like I said, very similar to what I said. In fact, I think it was, bar obviously putting Kabore, in. But then again, he's the right wing back. There's not a lot of other options. I've been saying I do want to see Chio higher. So it's one of them really, given the injuries, especially in the centre back position as well. And when Hashioka has come on, we haven't really seen him on that right wing back side yet. So there's always that thought that he wouldn't have went with it. So yeah, overall pretty happy with the lineup. But yeah, Dad, your thoughts when you saw it?
I was surprised that Hashioka wasn't starting. Seems to have like Osho was touch and go. I think it was. Same as Bell was, and then we keep doing that. We keep obviously they want to fight for the club they're playing, and then they'll come on and then they'll get injured. And now I believe he's unavailable for the next game or two, maybe. Bell I know is out for the rest of the season now, so it's not good with the defensive injuries. We've got 11 players out, which is maybe even 12 now, which is the most in the league. And it's definitely affected us. But yeah, other than that, pretty much expected. I might have put Townsend on because Chio's not really been great recently. We'll see with that. So yeah, other than that, expected, isn't it?
Yeah, no, for sure. And talking about Bell,
Clark, we haven't got. No, we could put Ruddock in there, but
with how well Clark's done the last couple of games with Barkley, you've got to stick with it.
But yeah, we're missing that defensive part of our midfield, the experience. We are missing Nakamura and the Congo massively, definitely.
Yeah, and talking about the Bell thing, I see not too long ago, about an hour ago, he posted of him in a hospital bed. So that tells you what you need to know about the injury. But obviously, video covering, hopefully, and be back as soon as possible. But like I say, it could be a season which is not what we like to hear. Obviously, it's the same, as it stands with Nakamba as well. So they're racking up, and it's not great. It's not great. It's not ideal at all. But yeah, moving on to the actual game. Obviously, the first half, we weren't great in spells. I thought on the right hand side we were decent. We were going forward. Kabore and Chio were linking up decent. I'll be honest. But obviously, Doughty, played a lot of games. Shout out to him for that. But in this game, let's be honest, he wasn't great. Obviously, the first goal they got, poor pass back by him. I don't even know. I'm still looking at it numerous times. I don't know if it's to Osho or to Kaminsky. There wasn't enough on it. Osho wasn't quite in great position, but I don't put that down to him because, the pass wasn't great. And then obviously Kaminsky tried, come out. He tried to get it, didn't quite get onto it. And then obviously Manus, I think that's how he says his name, obviously laid it off to Mateta, who flicked it in, cheeky goal. But, they have got them players, especially up front, and attacking wise that can do them type of things, can have one moment of magic in that sense, even though it was a gifted goal. And it was frustrating, because again, it was another early goal conceded, and I was thinking, oh no, it could be one of these games again where we go 2-0 down, early on. That's how it felt, but obviously, thankfully, it wasn't. But we just there was moments where the passes weren't great. But what did you make of that first goal they got, Dad?
Yeah, obviously, like that. Yeah, as we said, played hell of a lot of games. Worked his socks off. Been brilliant. You can flog players. I keep saying it, and that's probably. He rarely makes mistakes anyway. And I think it was more. Who you saying he's passing it to Osho or Kaminsky? I think he was like trying to pass it into that space. To one of them would have been getting it, kind of thing. Yeah, it was poor and that. But again, I'd say that a lot of this is down to us not having Lokonga and Nakamba in there, because that's normally that they'll be having the ball and tidying up in their positions, but they're not. So we're having to rely on other players doing it, and that they're obviously not as good at doing it. They're better going forward, and that's part of the problem. Again, Kaminsky he comes out so well and closes the angle down. Like he's done that numerous occasions this season. Yeah, it was a cheeky flick, and yeah, it was disappointing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then obviously, like I say, a lot of times we were giving the ball away. Bit sluggish, I think is the right word to use. At times, obviously Clark. Obviously, like I said, he's had really good games. Last couple of games. Obviously since the Man City one, but this game not so great. He gave them the ball. Mateta, nearly got onto it. I don't know what he was thinking. Obviously, big up to Clark on that, but in this game, like I say, not great. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Who he was passing to. Obviously, probably Kaminsky, but it just wasn't great. And if we conceded that, I'd been fuming, because it's a very similar goal to the first goal we conceded in the sense of us giving it to them, literally. But yeah, got away with that one, didn't we, Dad?
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's not the quality; it's just the Premier League know-how, and that's all it is. And like I said, we're definitely missing that. But unfortunately for Barkley, obviously we got a busted nose, or going in for a header, and that affected him. He wasn't poor, but it affected him for the rest of the game. And then they had some good chances. They hit the crossbar, I think, twice. We were very lackluster and disjointed, and I think it's because we're missing, them players and the patterns, the partnerships that they formed, like Barkley and Nakamba, Barkley, Lokonga. Even can even say like Chio probably does play better when Kabore's on that side. When he's further forward, not in this game. He's been playing this, that, and the other. It was like who's going to make the cross, who's going to do it. Like normally it's one or the other. You know, it's normally Chio. So that was a bit disjointed as well. Burke weren't necessarily making the forward runs that he normally does, and that's what it is. It's a bit disjointed at times, and I think it's affecting the injuries and the last few games. You know, not picking up any points, etc. But we wasn't terrible, you know. But we haven't been playing the way we can for quite a few games now. But again, it's just down to injuries and you know, players coming. They might do good for a game or half a game, and then when they get put pressure, because Palace put a hell of a lot of pressure on. They closed us down, and we didn't have an answer to it basically. And that's what you need. You need certain players who can get out of them situations, not just Barkley. Other players probably, you know, can play better as well. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought the exact same. You know, they were, you know, give them a little bit of credit. You know, if they did win, you know, I was thinking that in the sense of the way they were putting pressure on us. You know, as much as the same time, you know, we weren't doing enough. You know, especially going forward. You know, moving on to the second half, we'll just go straight to it. You know, going on to this point now. You know, 66th minute was our first shot on target. You know, it's not great. And let's be honest, Morris, I don't really blame him there. You know, he couldn't really do much. Bit of a difficult, you know, sort of angle for him to turn and actually, you know, try and get a decent shot away. But it was just frustrating to see, you know, really. You know, and it's one of them games we're thinking, oh, we're going to narrowly lose. You know, the way the game was going, you know, especially later on in the second half, like you said, that they hit the crossbar. I can't remember who was that. Edouard. It was Edouard. I remember it. You know, as much as Kaminsky done a really good save as well in that second half, you know, with his leg. And I was thinking, what a save that is. You know, if we get a result, you know, that will be massive. You know, that could be massive. That save he's done there. I still think he had a good game. You know, there was a moment where Burke missed Eze, you know, missed winning the ball off Eze. Obviously, he went for a cheeky attempt. You know, can't really blame him. See Kaminsky off his line. You know, they were having their chances, and you're thinking, you know, if we get anything now, that is a bonus. And then obviously we did. The subs are very impactful in this game. I felt every single one. You know, obviously in a game with how it was, you know, we weren't great. It was, you know, it's a bit obvious when you look back at it. You know, late on goal, the subs were quite impactful. You know, even though Berry got a silly yellow card, I still think he was decent. He played a massive part of it. You know, we were actually saying bring him on. You know, me and you when we were watching it, Dad, because recent games he's come on, he's put in a shift. You know, he's done decent, and obviously he was part of that. Nelson come on, that was good to see. You know, obviously he's been in and around the first team squad for a while now, but it's good to finally see him, you know, actually come on in the game, because I've seen him a few times and he is a good player. You know, I remember the youth team, like 1 or 2 seasons ago, played away at Birmingham, won like 6-0. And he scored a lot of goals in that game at their ground. So it's good to see that. You know, he had a decent cameo, nice dummy, you know, at one stage in the game. That was good. And then obviously Townsend come on, which, you know, again, we did expect at some point, you know, he's against his former club as well. And obviously Woodrow come on, as we all know. And then obviously we did score, like I say, Townsend, quality cross, you know, showing his quality, you know, his experience there, a cross like that. And then, you know, it's like Woodrow said in his post-match, you know, someone was always probably going to get onto that, you know, but Woodrow was the one to be there. Great header, you know, great header. And fair play, you know, he's got off the mark. As the weeks were creeping in, I'll be honest, the last couple of weeks, I did have my slight doubts, because when he has played, he ain't really done much in the Prem. You know, especially when you look at games like Man United, that was a good opportunity for him. You know, obviously Elijah unfortunately getting injured. Obviously in the warm-up, I was thinking, you know, this is a good opportunity for Woodrow. Didn't quite do much. You know, obviously I know he's got a few goals, obviously in the Cup, you know, the winner against Everton. Obviously he scored in the League Cup as well earlier on in the season, but I was thinking, you know, he hasn't quite got it yet, you know, but he got it, got a goal, great header, a massive point, you know, and that's what matters to me. You know, as the weeks have gone on, people said, oh, not necessarily the games recently, you know, since probably the Man City game, but people are saying, oh, the performances has been there, but we haven't been getting the results, you know, and the points. That's what matters to me. Even if we play crap like we did, let's be honest, majority of that game, getting the points, that's what matters, especially in these next 3 games, like people keep saying. Obviously their teams around, obviously Bournemouth are a little bit higher, but Palace are, they're few bad results. They could be down there. Bournemouth, obviously it's one of them games. And then obviously Forest on the weekend, which we all know is absolutely massive now. So we need to be picking up points, in these ones. And we did, and that's what I was very proud of, that we've done that, because that's what matters at the end of the day. You can have good performances, like etc. Like large parts of the Man United game, but we didn't get a result, and that's what matters. Games like the other day, not great performance, but results, for me. So that's my summary on it. Went a bit longer there, but Dad, your thoughts on the second half?
Yeah, we edged into it a bit, but we weren't at it all game, and the performance wasn't great. But I have to say that's the first time I think this season, definitely the performance wasn't great, but we've got something out of the game. Whereas majority of the time performances have been, and we haven't got anything out of the game. So that is a good sign if you can still play well. We was lucky to say, but the fight, scoring the last kick of the game, I always thought that we had that opportunity because of that, how many goals they conceded and how many we score in the last 10-15 minutes, and it did feel like a win, and hopefully that'll galvanize them now to believe that they can pull out, get those results and just stick together. And I think that Lokonga and Elijah ain't too far away at all. I think they're probably, I'd say that they're probably going to be involved in the next against Forest. I think we just don't want to rush them back, and then others maybe a little bit ready as well. I'm not sure how to Anderson, the extent of his injury, Potts, and obviously Johnson as well. I hope he's all right. He keeps saying like he's ill and stuff. And he could go straight in, definitely be on the bench. As you said, it's good to see the youngsters come on. Everyone's got to be a part of it. He wasn't phased. No doubt he'll probably definitely be on the bench as well tomorrow. So yeah, it was good to see that we got that point, rescued that point, and hopefully that's going to help push us a little bit. And as you said, the substitutes, played pretty well. Ashioka, he had a couple of dodgy moments. I think that's just where he's just got to get used to the pace of the Premier League.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're right. He's obviously got technical ability, and now he's got to get used to it because for me, he's pretty much going to be. He will be starting, and it just depends what position he's going to be starting. Probably say with the Bell injury and the Osho injury, that he will be playing in that left centre back position.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? Considering that's where he come on, didn't he? And where he was on that left side. So.
But also, I feel that potentially he could be utilised in the midfield position as well because he's a good passer of the ball. He's good at tracking people down. So that
and his other position, it said he could play when we signed him was on that right midfield. So.
Yeah, so we'll see with that, but yeah, we're lucky we signed him. It's probably too late to get someone on a free now. By the time they gel in, now this is the business end of the season. You just got to roll with the punches and see. But hopefully we get some of them players back. The last couple of 3 games at least. Nakam's not going to play, but we'll definitely have Elijah back, the Conga back, and just some more reinforcements on the bench, So yeah.
Yeah, no, a bit about the free thing I can't see as well. Because Rob Edwards already said, isn't he? He's happy with what he's got, and obviously he has reserved that space, just, maybe if, obviously it won't be this season, but if Lockyer does, obviously come back into football as well, there's that as well, isn't there? So, yeah, no, I totally agree. But, yeah, let's go through some comments and then we'll get into the player ratings. Big up to Paul, says, good evening, lads. Big up to yourself, mate. Big up to Jamie as well. He says, how are you doing? Yeah, we're good, thanks, mate. Hope you're well. Big up to yourself. Obviously, I'm sure it was a bit of a shock result to you for you guys at the weekend that you would have took. It's probably, let's be honest, it probably still won't affect anything. But it's always good to get a point when you don't expect it. I was the exact same with us this weekend, to be honest. Big up to Stephen. He says, big up Ty and Dazza. Big up to yourself. And Jackie as well says, hi, Ty Dazza. I thought we dodged the bullet. No, we absolutely did. But like I say, take the points, especially in these games for sure. For sure, definitely. But let's get into the player ratings. Like I say, Kaminski, I still thought he had a decent game. Obviously he made that save in the second half, really good save, with his leg. And, he did try, obviously, on the first goal. He was quite unlucky for me. So he wasn't terrible, Kaminski. I'm going to go, because I did say earlier, that save, I felt it could be vital if we were to get a result. I'm going to go over 7 for Kaminski.
Yeah, I'll give him 7. We can trust him pretty much. Even, if we've got strong defence, then we've got him as well. When they're both playing well, it's good. His distribution's good. We can rely on him. He makes these vital saves and basically, keeps us in the games. And he kept us in this one, and we ended up getting a point. So yeah, 7.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Paul says 8 for Kaminski. Stephen has actually gone with his man of match as Kaminski. That's fair enough. He's up there for me. He's gone with an 8. And then Jackie's gone with a 7.5 for Kaminski. And then moving on, we will go over to, we'll start off with Burke. I thought he was better, compared to the other games. He hasn't really been seen in them, but then he's still, he still had a few moments. Obviously, like I say, that Eze tackle, I feel he's got to be doing slightly better there. And obviously, didn't quite get it. And it nearly led to the goal. I know Kaminski was fuming, because he was quite far out, but that's not down to Kaminski. I just expected him to sort of win the ball, and he nearly got lobbed. So yeah, he was okay. He was better. It's like you said, Dad, though, he wasn't really going for. Maybe that might have been a tactics thing, Rob Edwards said, but he wasn't really going for. Sometimes he makes some forward runs. We weren't really seeing that an awful lot from him, compared to what we usually do. So. But he was, like I say, he's better than the last couple of games for me. I'll go over 6. I'll just go over an average 6.
Yeah, I thought he was all right. As I've already said, forward runs and defensively, he's all right, but he's not like, Lockie, where you're like, yeah, he's going to get blocks, he's going to do this. He's not really doing that so much at the moment. So I'm going to give him a 6.5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Paul's gone with a 7 for Burke. Jackie's also gone with 6.5. Steve says Burke needs to be slightly stronger, but passing was better Saturday. 7. Yeah, that's fair enough. And then moving on, we'll go over to Menji. Again, he's another player for me that's up there for man of the match. I thought he was pretty good. Obviously, he had to come off, but obviously it's good that he's going to be available tomorrow, especially the injuries and absences we've got. And yeah, I thought it was much better game from him. I thought he was decent in the last game, but I felt this game stood out as well, for me from him. And he's vital. He's vital. I remember that when he did go down, me and you were like, oh, no, this ain't looking good. 1, because the injuries, and 2, how good he has been, throughout the whole season, really. So for me, Menji, I'm going to go, I'll say he's up there for me. Do you know what? I'm going to go over 7 as well. Same as Kaminski.
Yeah, I'll give him 7. He's probably our most sort of, what I was talking about, the Lockyer, someone's getting in the blocks, the headers away. That's what he's doing at the moment. I feel he's probably better in the middle than Burke would be, and even more than Osho has been, to be fair. And he's young. He's been a real good signing, and try to keep hold of him, and hopefully his injury's not that bad that he ends up coming off the Premier League. So do mine. You see it with a lot of Premier League teams. Players will come back from injury and get injured again. It does happen quite a lot, to be fair. So hopefully that ain't the case. But I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen it a few times with our players in recent weeks. Obviously Osho the last game, Bell as well. So hopefully not. Touch wood. That doesn't happen. But yeah, Menji 8 says Paul. And then Jackie's gone with a 7. Stephen says Menji very consistent, 7.5. And he also says we need Menji to be fit. Yeah, 100%. So he is playing tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully it's no reoccurrence of what's happened with other players when it comes to that. But yeah, moving on to Osho. Obviously, he won't be available for tomorrow, unfortunately. In this game, I felt he was okay. It wasn't terrible. The first goal, I don't really put that down to him. So for me, I'm going to go with 6.5 for Osho.
Yeah, 6.5 was there, but again, he's another one who normally makes the forward runs. I mean, he's had a couple of little niggly injuries anyway, and maybe this just sort of caught up with him a little bit. Not too much to blame for the first goal, really. Slightly maybe, yeah, 6.5. But big up to him for getting called up to the Nigeria squad. That's going to do him the world of good anyway as well. I like him and I'll rate him. So yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, obviously you've always been massive on him and believed sort of he'd have that sort of, you could say, sort of redemption story against Watford, for example, where he got the red card and scored a goal. Have that sort of impact. But yeah, no, like I say, obviously he can play multiple positions, and I believe he found that out shortly after as well, the game, because he put it on his story. So that would have been pretty sick, to be fair. So yeah, shout out to him. That'd be good, and never know. Obviously, Elijah can play for them as well. If he gets back and it's firing again, you never know. He might get picked for them as well, which will be sick. I'll start watching Nigeria games a lot more, that's for sure. But yeah, no, absolutely. Osho 7 says Paul. Other ratings. Jackie's gone 6.5. It's the same. Me there. Phil Osho done all he could till injured. Yeah, exactly. I agree. That Stevens gone 6.5 as well. And then moving on to the wing backs, we'll start off with Kabore. Now, did have a really good game. It's good to see. Can he keep it up? Because I remember when he had a really good game against Liverpool in the league, and he didn't quite follow that up. Can he? It will be massive if he could. Especially if obviously all the injuries we've got as it is anyway. If he can keep that up, I felt working with Chio, it's very good. Like you said, Dad, it has worked. It has seemed to work. As much as we haven't seen the greatest from Chio, what we can see, it still has worked at some time. Look at even the Aston Villa game, for example, it worked quite well, going forward in the second half. And yeah, he had a decent game. Like I say, there was that yellow card, which I was a bit frustrated about, because it was a bit annoying, the way he's just gone in, but he had a decent game. Could be up there for man of the match for a lot of people. So yeah, when it comes to his rating, I'll go with a. It's difficult. I'm going to go. Joe, what? I'm going to go 7.5.
Yeah, well, I'll give him 7.5. He is my man of the match. Out of anyone, I mean, we say everyone else must have played Paul if he's got man of the match, but he was decent. He put in a very good block.
Yeah, that as well on the Mitchell shot. Good shout.
Towards the end, it was a bit. He does dive in reckless though sometimes, borderline. Yeah. This one was he flew in like a nutter, but he got it. It worked, and he was working well with Chio. Got a few crosses in. Maybe we've said to him like just don't know, get forward more. People cover. I'm not sure. Yeah. But defensively is still a question mark for me. But he was decent this game, so I'm going to give him my man of the match 7.5.
And it's not overly, going to defending thing. It's not overly the tackling. Obviously, like I say, the yellow card, I was frustrated with that. But it's like sliding blocks and that he can be good at. It's like I've said as well. When we played, who was it? Newcastle at home when we beat them 1-0. That tackle on Gordon was a quality tackle. But it just has for me, it's more so the tracking, the marking, that sort of thing where he gets caught out. Obviously it wasn't massively down to him when Chelsea scored that second goal, but his marking did sort of lead to it to start, sort of thing. and you also look at obviously the pass out, should have cleared it. But in this game, it was good. It was good for me, bar that yellow card. But we'll see if he can continue it. That's the thing for me. Can he continue it? Because last time he didn't quite manage to, and it'll be massive if he can. Like due to the, he's going to play. Let's be honest, he's going to play tomorrow. So can he continue it? We shall see. Paul's gone with an 8 for Kabore. Jackie has gone with a 6.5. Stephen says Kabore done very well Saturday. Good running and getting back some great blocks. Yeah, obviously that's that one at the end. Yeah, really good block. So we'll see. We'll see if we can continue it. Moving on to Doughty. Obviously not a great game from him. Like I said earlier, did get that, obviously that moment for the goal, which weren't great. But again, he has played a lot of football. And it, like you said, that is very rare that you see that he doesn't, have a good game. Obviously the only games I can really think of is this game and Sheffield United. That was, yes, he created chances, but there weren't great crossing, for his standards, considering he is up there, when it comes to, setting them up and getting them crosses in and stuff like that. But yeah, not overly great from him in this game. So based on that, I'm gonna go for 5.5.
I'll give him a 6.5. Other than that, error, he did make some decent little runs forward, rather than crossing. He was trying to get into the box a couple of times and that. I just think our set pieces, we've been found out a little bit. And if you look at the teams when they play against us, they switch it up. They'll play it short and then play one to the edge of the box, or they've watched us before when we've defended them, but we don't really switch ours up. I'll never really see us take a short corner. Yes, we know he's got excellent delivery in that, but I think if they're looking at it and they're going, well, he always puts it into these areas. If we mark this area and protect the goalkeeper, we'll be able to sort of deal with it. And they did deal with pretty much all of our set pieces pretty well. So I think we probably need to switch it up a little bit as well. And it's a bit like when Bree was constantly taking all the free kicks and everyone's getting on his back because in corners, it got to a point where it just wasn't working. And then I just think we need to have someone else as well to take corners and stuff as well, like to take the load off of him a little bit. But we haven't. Obviously Giles was brought in to do that. Bell's injured. He could have played in that position, set pieces and stuff. But I do remember him taking free kicks in the Championship. I know Barclays took some, but yeah, 6.5.
Yeah. No, absolutely. There you go. Doughty 7, says Paul. Rating. Jackie's gone with a 6. And then Stephen's gone with a 6.5. There. So moving on to the midfield. We'll start off with Clark. Like I say, not a great game, from him, compared to what we have seen. Obviously, nearly conceded obviously a second goal in the first half. Weren't a great pass back at all. And he was giving it away a few times, but again, that ain't his main sort of position. You can see that, and we all know this. Ross Barkley is obviously, levels if we're being realistic, but obviously still shout out to Clark, and that sort of thing. I probably still would go with him again tomorrow, if I'm being honest. Wherever that is, maybe you might put him higher. The only really options we've got, and obviously we'll get into lineups later, of course, is really, that you can maybe have a little tinker with is the front three for me. Everywhere else is a bit, you sort of know what to expect there. But yeah, I'm going to go for Clark. I'm going to go 6.
Yeah, I'll give him 6. I think part of the problem was they were playing a lot of long balls. They were just bypassing our midfield at times, even though they could probably have passed it through. Because once Barkley got that knock on the nose, he was, he wasn't as involved in the game. Still had some nice touches, etc. But yeah, 6 for Clark.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul's gone with 7 for Clark. Jackie has gone with a 5.5. I was thinking that, I'm not going to lie. And then Stephen says, Clark, not the best, 6. Yeah, exactly, from the last couple of games. Then moving on to Barkley, like I say, like you said, Dad obviously had that broken nose. Come out, it was a broken nose in the end. So massive shout out to him for continuing, and it wasn't quite the same, but it's always going to be difficult, when that is, when that has happened. Still made good passes, still tried to be influential in the game, in my opinion, when we did have our moments, every now and then. So, yeah, Ross Barkley, I'll go 6.5 for him.
Yeah, I agree. 6.5. Just what we've already said, basically. Hopefully he starts tomorrow. He might have one of them safety masks on.
He's actually come out and said he won't wear one.
Okay, well maybe it's not okay, but hopefully he's fine and he's ready to turn it on this game. So because we do definitely need him to be on his best form, and he wasn't able to in this game, which obviously didn't help us. But I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah, it's the same with me. But Paul's gone with a 7. 6.5 says Jackie, and then Stephen says Barkley, hard scouse. Again, looks a standout player, 7. Yeah, exactly. Considering he had that as well, it tells you a lot about him. And then moving on to the front three, we'll start off with Chio. Like I said, a few decent bits of link up with Kabore, going forward. There was a moment where he did take on the man, and it's good to see because we know he's very good at that. He's got that pace to get him behind as well. You've seen it numerous amount of times this season where he has tried it and he's got fouled, and he's got clotheslined, etc. Like the Brighton game, for example. And obviously he did score in that one as well. Look at that goal. He didn't run from in behind. So just want to see that a bit more from him. And we did see it. Did see it at times in this game, which is obviously good to see. So, yeah, Chio, decent performance. I'm going to go 6.5.
Yeah, I thought it was. I think what it is with Chio, I think let's be honest, right? He's a very good player, but I think what it demand a lot of him, and he's come straight from League One or whatever, bottom end, Rotherham
season,
League, So I think it is affected him a little bit. So maybe he will go back on the bench. Tomorrow we'll see about that. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Paul's gone 6.5 as well. Jackie has gone 6.5 as well. And Stephen's gone with a 7 for Chio. And then moving on, we'll go over to Chong. Again, he had his moments. And there is a slight worry I do have with Chong in the sense of I do see him get bodied off the ball a bit too easy at times. But he is still trying to impact the games, win the ball, etc. That sort of thing. I felt he was okay. But I'm just going to go with an average. I'm going to go with 6.
I'll give him 6.5. He does try them link up passes, but everyone else has to be on the ball. He does try that with Doughty quite a bit. He's stopped start this season. He's been starting obviously recently, probably more so to do, with injuries. Brown, Elijah, obviously as well. He's got to really sort of take his chances. I think he tries too hard sometimes, but yeah, like I say, he does get eased off the ball quite easy. That's the only thing about his game, really, for me. So yeah, I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah. Jackie has gone with a 6 for Chong. 7 Paul's gone with. And then Stephen's also gone with a 6.5 as well. And then moving on to the last player that obviously started out of that 11, Morris. Yeah, he tried. He's had his moments. Obviously, he was the first player for us to have that shot on target. He was. What I noticed about him a lot as well in this game is he was on the left side quite a lot. Especially towards the end of the game. Anyway, when we were trying to get that goal. Obviously, there was a moment, like I said earlier, Nelson dummied it. Obviously, and then that's where it went to. Morris. So he was trying. Trying in this game. It was decent. He just needs that goal. He just needs that goal to kick on. Obviously, I know he got it in the game before that, but I feel, get his confidence. If he gets a goal tomorrow, I think that'll be very, very good confidence, going into that Forest game. Because as we all know, that is a huge, game. So, yeah, Morris, I'm going to go 6.5, Morris.
I'll give him 7. For he was decent. He was trying to hold it up. He was trying to do as much as he could, and sometimes he's not getting service, but he was getting it quite, at times, and he was trying. Like I say, he did have the shot, and then I think he would have ended up scoring if Woodrow's header hadn't gone. He was running in. He's a captain as well, so yeah, I think he's relishing it being the captain. I think, and probably will be the captain for the rest of the season, I'd say. So I'll give him a 7, and he's stepping up a little bit as much as he can. We just need to be better in moments to give him that. But he's scored in quite a few games recently, so we play better than we did against Palace, then he'll be involved for sure.
Yeah. Paul's gone with a 7 for Morris, same as you, Dad. There. Jackie's also gone with a 7, and Stephen's also gone with the same as me. He's gone with a 6.5. And moving on to the subs, obviously made 5 out of possible 5. They were all impactful. Like I say, Hashioka, they're still getting, adapting to the Premier League, like you said earlier, Dad. You need to see it, but I think he still had a pretty decent game. And obviously, he was on that left side, like I say, so probably where he's going to go tomorrow. It makes sense. Obviously Osho being up Bell, and they usually go on that left side. Obviously if Menji's available as well, Osho does go there sometimes. So yeah, it would make sense. But yeah, in this game, I thought he was decent. I'm going to go 6.5 for Hashioka.
Yeah, 6.5. There was a couple of moments, as I said before, where passing it a little bit slowly backwards or whatever. But he was redeeming himself. He's, like I said, he's definitely got ability. The defenders come off, so he was like, it made his task harder as well. So I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah, Stephen says loving him 6.5. Jackie's obviously gone with a 6.5 as well. So yeah, that's when it comes to that. And then obviously the next player was obviously Woodrow. You know what? Yeah, it's going to sound a bit mad, but do you know what? Because he has scored the winning goal. The game was not great as a whole. Sorry, I wish it was a winning goal. It flipping felt like one, didn't it? Yeah. Because he scored the equaliser, in a massive away point, could be vital, come the end of the season. I'm going to give him man of the match. Because it was one of them games where we needed subs to impact it, and he was the one who got the goal. I remember I had my doubts a couple of weeks ago about him, because he didn't quite get that Prem goal when he had the chance to, in a couple of games or even impact the game. It's more so in the cup competitions for him. We've done it. Hopefully, gets another one. That would be nice at some point. But we shall see. So based on that, I'm not going to go overly high, but I am going to give him. I'll go at 8 if I've given him man of match, the highest out of the lot. Gev Kabore 7.5. He's close second. So yeah, Woodrow, I'm going to go over 8.
Yeah, I thought he went on for long, but what he did, it was a good, very, very good header. And it was good to see. That's it from me, really. He could start based on that because of the confidence he'll get. So maybe we do need to switch it. I think initially when Elijah got injured, he was playing, I think, on the left, right where Chong is, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Morris was playing there and he was playing up front. So you could see that again, potentially. But then we haven't really. But then we got on the bench Nielsen. Maybe, but I don't think. I think we'll keep it on the bench. Just but I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, Jackie's gone the same. Woodrow came back with Z, but the touch was enough. 7. Yeah, exactly. Paul went with an 8 as well for Woodrow, so he's on the same wavelength as me there. And then obviously Townsend, who got the assist. What a cross that was! His wealth of experience, you could say, of a ball in like that. Quite ironic, to be honest, that it was against Palace as well. So yeah, fair play to him. He made an impact when he come on. It's like you said that the last couple of weeks, you do want to see him start at some point. I could see it tomorrow. I'll be honest. In the type of game it is as well. So yeah, Townsend for me for that cross. I'm going to go. You know what? For that cross, because it's such a good cross. It's a vital point. Could be 7.5.
I'll give him 7. Neat and tidy, excellent cross. Against his old club, he done well. Considering when he was against Everton, he didn't. And I still think again he'd probably be on the bench because simply because we haven't really. If we put Woodrow on, we start Townsend. I don't know, game changers, So I'll give him 7.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Stephen says he has them crosses in his locker, 6.5, yeah, of course. And Jackie has also gone with 7.5 as well for Townsend. And then moving on, Paul obviously gone with 7.5 as well. And then moving on to the next player, Berry. I'll say he did get that yellow card, which was a bit annoying. Obviously, a few people like that because it's, especially you, Doug, because it's Will Hughes. But yeah, no, it was a bit silly at the same time. I'll be honest, but he was still getting stuck in. He was still having them moments of being an impact player, like he has been the last few times he has come on. So based on that, I'll go. Do you know what? I'll go over 7. I'll go over 7 for Berry.
I'll give him 6.5. I think he might have been in and around the goal as well, possibly. And fighting, yeah, it was a silly yellow card. But that's what he's coming on for, really, isn't it? To get stuck in, basically. So I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5 as well. Says Jackie. Stephen says Berry took out Hughes, but yeah, silly 6.5. Yeah, right, exactly. And then moving on to Nelson, like I say, good cameo from him. I like that dummy. I like that he had, he wasn't afraid. It was good to see. And to be fair, I didn't think he would be anyway, because like I said, him and Johnson are the ones out of the younger ones that have been in around the squad a lot more. Like I say, it's good to finally see him come on because, like I say, I've seen him a few times for the youth team, development squad, etc., and he has been good. So it's good to see that. And I'm sure he'll be involved as in like on the bench tomorrow. Maybe might come on depending on how the game's going, etc. But yeah, it was decent. So for me, I'll go 6.5 for Nelson.
Yeah, 6.5. It was nice, as you said, the dummy. It was nice to see confidence from the young lad, and didn't really look phased. Didn't see him have too much of the ball, but his positioning looked good. He looked confident. We might see more of him. Sometimes you get these players that come, rescue, do wonders basically. So you never know. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's seen that. Nelson welcomes 6, says Stephen. And then Jackie says 7. Well done to Nelson. And then 6.5 says Paul. So there you go. There's all the player ratings. So obviously man of match. Obviously yours, Dad, was obviously Bore. Mine was Woodrow. It just needed a change. And he was the one who could get a vital point. Come the end of the season, we shall see. As for the players' votes now, obviously that's Cabore's first and Woodrow's first as well of the season. So that means as follows: Kaminsky with 2, Barkley with 7. Still got a bit of a lead, Barkley. He's 3 ahead of the second place, which is Lokonga and Chong level on 4. Doughty's on 2, Osho's on 1, Chio's on 2, Menji's on 2, Elijah's on 2, Morris on 3, Clark's on 2, and then obviously, like I say, Bore and Woodrow on 1. Points, none of us got nothing, Dad. Because I said 2-1 to Palace, didn't quite happen, and obviously he said 3-2. So it's one of them. It's currently still 4-3. To me, it'd be interesting to see how that changes by the Forest game. It'd be interesting by then. But yeah, overall, it could be a massive away, vital point. Come the end of the season, not a great performance, but we got the points, or the points, shall I say, which is massive. And it could be that confidence booster, getting that late on goal, fight until the end. It could give the players a lot of confidence. Woodrow's first Prem goal for us as well. Quite ironic, actually, because his last Prem goal was 10 years ago, and it was actually against Palace again when he played for Fulham at Craven Cottage. Like you said in his interview, can he play Palace every week if he's going to score, against them in that sense? But yeah, overall, I'll take it definitely, and I'm sure you're the same as well, Dad. Your final thoughts on the Palace game?
Yeah, we were lucky we got away with one, but it was good to see that we got a point. That really galvanised the squad, I think, because then kind of results do when you're not playing, well, and you're still picking up points. Then that that's good to see, and that does help a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, moving on to Bournemouth. So, like I say, obviously rescheduled game, as we all know, travelling back down to the Vitality. Obviously, tomorrow night, Bournemouth. Obviously, there will be, like Stephen says here, obviously in the 59th minute. So, a 1 minute applause for the emergency services that obviously saved Lockyer's life. So, yeah, and he will be there, of course. So, that's going to be a very good moment to, see all of that. And obviously, we will be doing a vlog from home, me and you, Dad, again. So, we'll obviously do that as well. But yeah, when it comes to it, obviously, it's only right we get a Bournemouth fan on, especially for this game. So yeah, we are joined with Morgan from the Back of the Net podcast. So yeah, big up to him. He's currently backstage. Just put your thumbs up if you're ready to come in, mate. Oh, is he all ready to come in? You're good, mate. You're good to come in. I'm not sure if he is at the moment. So what I'll do is I'll message private chat in a second. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Of course, going into it, obviously, a win if we was to get one would be massive. Like I say, going into that game on the weekend, another huge game for us. Against Nottingham Forest, obviously, if we did, win, we could, obviously jump out of the relegation zone. As for Bournemouth, obviously they most likely would stay in, obviously 13th because goal difference compared to Fulham's. Fulham's have got better ones, so it's interesting. Obviously, a draw for us would mean we're 2 points, obviously behind Forest with that game. So it's all interesting, really, when it comes to that. But yeah, Dad, just give me your brief summary of how you're feeling going into it.
Well, I think that getting that point is going to help us. I think that the fact we've played Bournemouth quite a lot over the last few years, with mixed results, beat them, drawn with them, they beat us. We know a lot about them. We know that we're capable of beating them, and we've just got to go for it. Be in the game, similar to Palace, but play better. Obviously, be in the game, and who knows.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Morgan is ready to come in from the Back of the Net Bournemouth podcast. So big up to him for coming on. Hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, all good. Looking forward to the game. Be nice to get it played. Obviously, it has to be, but the most important thing I think from what Bournemouth fans and everyone associated with Luton and the medical staff, the fact that Tom Lockyer, most importantly, is doing well and recovering well, and great to see him up and about and on Sky, and it's really great that obviously the medical professionals and Philip Billen and everyone are connected in that match, sorted him out so quickly and professionally, and it was been to a lot of matches, and it was the most iconic thing, and it was a very weird, emotional day for everyone involved.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's pretty crazy because I actually nearly ended up going to that, and felt absolutely sorry for everyone to witness that. Obviously a lot of us Luton fans obviously would have seen that twice as well. But obviously it's great, like you say, to see he's all good and well now. Obviously he will be there tomorrow, so it will be very emotional, but good to see, of course, at the same time. But yeah, going on to the game. Insight and that type of thing. So obviously, like I say, See, if we did get a win, it would be massive. Obviously, going into that massive game at the weekend against Forest. But obviously, we go on to this game. Obviously, the late equaliser, as we know, from Woodrow. As for Bournemouth, they've only lost 2 of their last 7 Premier League games after crawling back to claim a point, obviously against Sheffield United on the weekend, as we know. And then a bit more about the Lockyer thing. Obviously, he will be present at the game to meet those who saved his life, like I say. So it's good to see when it comes to that. Also, where's it gone? Yeah, this is what Lockyer said on it. He said, "I just want to give them a massive thank you, and I can't wait to see them in person and thank them myself. They almost go under the radar with being at every football game you ever go to, but you don't really see them until something serious happens and you actually need them. That's when you see what incredible human beings are. They deliver such swift and fast life-saving care to the people who need it, so I honestly can't thank them enough. To be able to look at them in the eyes and shake their hands will be a great moment. As a club, we'd like to thank the Cherries Trust for setting up the fundraiser that has been £2,200 donated by fans of both teams and wider football community. It was AFC Bournemouth also contributing the outstanding amount to cover the cost of 4 supporters coaches to the match as well. Proceedings from the evening's Cherries community draw go to the Bournemouth Heart Club and British Heart Foundation charities. In the build-up to kick-off, mental health first aiders from the Cherries Trust and Talking Cherries will be joined by volunteers from Bournemouth Heart Club for drop-in points located in home and away areas of the ground. Supporters are encouraged to arrive early, so obviously if you do go to it, do make sure you do all of that. And like I say, a bit more on Bournemouth. Areola, obviously, in the summer, came in, obviously, after O'Neill steered Cherries to Premier League safety and their return to the top flight. The home side are winless in all 4 of their Premier League games at Vitality Stadium so far in 2024. They last had a longer run without a home league win from the start of the calendar year in 1994. Since their return to the top flight last term, Bournemouth are unbeaten in all 8 of their Premier League games against promoted sides. Bournemouth have won just 1 of their last 6 league games against Luton, though a 2-1 win at home in September 2021. Philip Billing has scored 3 goals in 2 home starts against Luton in all competitions, netting twice in an FA Cup match in January 2020, once in that September 2021 winning the Championship. And then Rob Edwards going into it, we're up against it with a lot of difficulties at the moment. He won't let it knock us. We're replaying this game because of a serious situation that we had to go through. It will make us stronger, and off the back of Saturday's result, we can hopefully build on it and put more points on the board. We need to be able to start games how we finish. We don't want to play safe, and we've done that for the majority of the season. I think the other teams are under more pressure to beat us, so we can be the underdogs and do what we do. We have the internal pressure and beliefs here. We know what we have to do, so there's no added pressure for these games. I'll say, obviously, the injury news, to clear it up, obviously, Menji is obviously available, like I say. Osho is obviously not passed the fitness test and will be unavailable. Ross Barkley, obviously, like I said, suffered a broken nose on the weekend, but he will be fine to play. And then, obviously, everyone else is out, like Elijah, like Conga. Johnson is still out as well. So, yeah, that is that when it comes to that. But Morgan, what's your injury news looking like for Bournemouth?
I think we're kind of still how it is. I think Solanke's been fighting fitness, but luckily he's okay, so he'll be fine, which is crucial to the Cherries. Without Solanke, we look average at best. His work great off the ball goes so unnoticed. In terms of we have got a few players out. Tyler Adams is coming back to fitness, but he'll be on the bench, and I don't think he'll feature because I don't know if you guys knew we signed him and then he came on again in a cup match for 20 minutes and goes and gets injured again, so not so great on that. We got Ryan Frederick, who's out, who hasn't actually played for a year, so not that we know Bournemouth fans know who he is anymore because he spent more time on the treatment table without sounding too disrespectful. And then you've got long-term injury. I think they're not too far away, but Lloyd Kelly, Max Aaron, and I think that's it off the top of my head. So yeah, but the Cherries although we got David Brooks and Joe Rothwell on loan as well at Southampton. So it's amazing when we had Philip Billing and a few injuries suspended. It can easily get very short on the amount of players that you have available. Very good, and it's great to hopefully have. But as I say, Solanke is pivotal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There was a stage a couple of weeks ago. I'm not too sure if he still is the top English goal scorer, but I know he's definitely up there. So, for sure. And even the game, obviously he got abandoned. I felt, he was proper growing into it in that second half.
100%.
For you guys. So
yeah.
He got the goal as well, didn't he? So for sure, definitely. But briefly talk to me as well, obviously, about your game at the weekend. Obviously, you took on Sheffield United. Going into it, a lot of people, obviously your fans and even neutrals, probably confident that you're going to win. But what quite happened in that game? Just talk briefly.
100%. Firstly, apologies if it came through my audio. I did try and turn it off. My phone just went off, so I do apologise. It always happens at the worst possible time when you're broadcasting. Schoolboy error there. But in terms of the game itself, the Sheffield United game, we thought against Burnley, although we still didn't play our best, it was crucial that we got off a win of the 2024 of the new year. We had a great run. We started under Andoni. It took time, and then we went on a great run with him when it started to click, and then we got some okay results. But winning against Burnley was crucial. And I thought, if we can beat Burnley, Sheffield United, with all due respect, I understand as much as you guys. It's a hard league when you first come out, you know, SSP and all that now. But I've seen Sheffield United so many times this season, the 5-0 at Arsenal, the Monday before, the 5-0 against Villa, the 8-0 to Newcastle. And you just think that they're awful. They're really bad. And then obviously Solanke missing a penalty, it happened. It wasn't the end of it's not great to miss a penalty. And then they grew into the game and they got a couple of goals. But I think what's the best bit about Bournemouth now is under Andoni, we go until the end. We could have lost year under Gary O'Neill without. I like Gary O'Neill, but I think we would have lost that game. He wouldn't have tried to win it. He would have sat defensively and brought on a right back who not a right back or something like that. But we attacked the game and we got a point. It's not the best point we need, but it's another point. And being realistic, it's a better point than it is to Sheffield United, because to them that will feel like a defeat, whereas to us it will feel more like a glory result, even though it wasn't a pretty. So it puts us in good shape again. If we didn't win, going into this game, I would be very concerned, which it's obviously not so great. But the fact that we managed to get something gives me more confidence going into tomorrow night's fixture against Luton Town.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I say, we actually have a Sheffield United fan that tunes in regularly, and even he knows as much as it's a point away, it's not going to matter really. If we're being honest, realistically for them. So yeah, that is that. But what we'll do now is we will go into lineups. What would your lineup be if you could pick going into tomorrow, Morgan?
I didn't know we were going to do this, so you put me on the spot a bit. But luckily, my memory's photographic. Well, pretty much anyway. So we'll go with what I think. So I'm going to go. I'll go. This is what I think Andoni will do rather than what I would personally do. So a lot of Bournemouth fans have been saying that Neto is shaky. He is very shaky. I got a tremor in both of my hands, and I think I could catch a ball better at times than Neto. So that doesn't speak facts. But then I don't know if you guys saw, but against Burnley, palming one off the bar, which is unbelievable save. So I think he's a confident goalkeeper. I think when he's on a great game, I think he's great. In other games, I think he costs us results at times. So, but I'll go with Neto in goal. My back four kind of picks for itself. So across the back, I'll go from right to left. I'll go Adam Smith at right back, who are, again, a lot of Bournemouth fans sometimes think he's not as good now. He's getting older. He's our last piece of our jigsaw from when we first came up under Eddie Howe. Then I'll go with Zidian Zabani, who's much good. He's a young Ukrainian lad who settled in very well from when we had him in the summer. Marcus Zanetti, unfortunately, is injured, so the only unless we play one of the development lads there, which I don't think we will, it will be Chris Mepham and Wales international. And then at left back, who's our only fit left back, unfortunately, it's Milos Kirkilets. So Dango Ottawa can always play there, but I don't think he'll play. I think he'll play Kirkilets. Into the midfield, it will be Lewis Cook and Ryan Christie, who is, I think he might, Ryan Christie, if you guys haven't watched much of him, it's sponsored by Red Bull because he does not stop running for 90 minutes. I think he could play 5 football matches and still just be about okay. And then into the front four, I'm going to make a change. I think Marcus Tavernier let himself down and has been a little bit, had a very bad run of form lately. So I think he'll make a change and go Luis Sinisterra, who on loan from Leeds. On the right-hand side, I think he'll go Anton Semenyo, who's been very good for us. In the number 10, very good player, Justin Kluivert. And then through the middle, our main man, Dominic Solanke. And I think that's 11 out of 11.
Yeah. Some players there that definitely I do rate. Obviously, Solanke, the obvious one. Kluivert as well. He's, last couple of games I've watched the Bournemouth, he's been very good. So, yeah, as for our lineup, guys, obviously I'll go first like I always do. So, obviously it's going to be Kaminsky in goal. It goes without saying. And then the back three, for me, what it's going to be, due to these injuries, I'm going to go Hashioka on the left side. That's going to, make sense for me considering he come on and that's where he was the other day. The middle, I'm going to go with Menji. And then on that right side, I'm going to go with Burke. I think that's most likely what's going to be anyway. And then the right side, the wing backs, I'm going to go Kabore again. Again, that comes down to, he had a pretty decent game. Can he keep it up? Also the sense of the, the injuries. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go Doughty again on that left side. The midfield, more defensive ones. Obviously, you're going to go with Ross Barkley. And I'm going to go with Clark again in this game. I'm going to stick with that. And then the three up front, Morris, obviously the highest one. On the right side, I'm going to go Townsend. I'm going to start in this game. I think Chio might be rested on the bench as well. And then the left side, like I say, the three is where you've got the options. Woodrow's in for a shout. Townsend, like I say, you've got Chio. You've got a lot more options there. Compared to other positions. But for me, I'm gonna stick with Chong again. I'm gonna stick with Chong to start in this game again. So that's my lineup. So Kaminsky in goal, Hashioka left side of the centre backs, Menji in the middle, Burke on the right, Barkley and Clark as the more midfielders further back, Doughty on the left, Kabore on the right, Chong on the left side, Townsend on the right, and then Morris up front. So that's my lineup when it comes to it. Dad, your lineup in this game?
Right, and pretty much the same as yours, mate. Kaminsky in goal. We're going to start Hashioka in that left centre back role. Obviously Bell's injured. We've got a few injuries in defence anyway. It could be Burke who starts in the middle, but I'm going to go for Menji and then Burke on the right. Obviously sticking with Barkley. Clark potentially could see maybe Ruddock start this game. Clark possibly could be pushed forward. Like, as you said, we've got some more options up front. Kabore on the right, Doughty on the left. I'm giving Chio another chance there, personally. Obviously Morris up front, and then I'm going to stick with Chong. But I wouldn't be surprised we could see Chio in that position and then Townsend on the right. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my lineup.
Yeah, so again, very similar. Obviously going to that back line, you sort of stick with what you know as well, don't you? Obviously with Menji in the middle and that type of thing. But yeah, like Stephen says here as well, Billing was obviously a massive part of the Lockyer situation as well. But yeah, it's that time. Score predictions. Morgan, I'll let you go first with your score prediction. How do you see it going tomorrow night? You say you're more confident after that result that you didn't lose. How do you see this one going?
Oh, it's a very. Do you know what? I'm going to go with what I think's going to happen. But what I will say is, you guys. Firstly, Rob Edwards, what a character he is. Your gaffer. I think he was very wrongly done by Watford. I know they don't keep hold of manager. I think I get through more pens than they do a year. And I actually get to keep the pens, whereas they shut their pens away. So, but I think it's going to be interesting. I do think it's going to be a different kind of game because of the atmosphere of what's happened. I do think it will play a part. I think the stadium's it's going to be a very respectful game of football, as you can imagine. But I think both teams have to understand what has happened. Luckily, Tom is okay and he is getting the right help. I think that both teams need the points. You guys need the points because obviously, with all due respect, you guys are in the relegation zone. We can't take off the gap because if we win tomorrow, we're up to 35 points, which will be enough this season, I would imagine. So I'm going to go for 2-1 to AFC Bournemouth. I think you guys will score because I think you guys are a great side. I think you guys showed it against Crystal Palace. Was it Woodrow in the 96th minute?
Yeah.
Getting you back on track. And I've seen you guys a number of times, even against Man City, Liverpool. I know UEFA Cup wasn't as good, but your games against Liverpool, Manchester United, the second half, you guys were mustard. So I'm going to go 2-1, but I do think you guys will come, and I don't think it will be an easy ride for anyone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And going to that as well, the games over the years have been very, very close at times. If someone wins this by the odd goal, look at the last game, as a whole, that was 3-2. Naismith right at the end, crazy for us, absolute scenes. Obviously, the 2-1, obviously at your grounds a couple of seasons ago. And then usually they do like a 1-1 draw as well in this tie at times as well. So, yeah, but Dad, your score prediction in this one?
Yeah, I've been thinking more about the Tom Lockyer effect and what that does to the squad. I know we've got a few injuries, but knowing that he's there and things like that, I do think that's going to give us a little bit more of an edge. The equaliser against Palace as well, I think that will help us as well. So we need it more than Bournemouth, So I think I'm going to go with the opposite, and now I'm going to go with the 2-1 Luton win. Nice. And that'll set us up nicely for their
Forest
game. And then obviously we've got Bournemouth again.
After, yeah.
So at home. So it's not the end of the world if we lose. I mean, it does all kind of point to a draw. But I'm going to go with 2-1.
Just to add in there, I think maybe, if you don't mind, I think maybe that we'll actually, I respect what you say, and I think maybe that both teams might win on their home game. I think so. Maybe tomorrow night Bournemouth will win it. I don't know. I'm not a genius, but then maybe when we guys come to Kennington Road, it's a hard place to come. Maybe you guys will beat us on the day there. That might just how it plans out. That's just another alternative, maybe.
Yeah, and also I don't think we haven't really had an outstanding away performance yet. I mean, the home one was again when Lockyer was involved. The 4-0 demolition of Brighton, and it wasn't even necessarily that they played poor. We just played so good, we didn't let them into the game. But again, we had certain players playing, and we got the injuries. So. Yeah, I do think it'll be close. All the games are close. I'll definitely take a point. If we did lose, it is disappointing, and then it puts more pressure on us for Saturday. But it's the business end of the season. I think we'll get a result definitely.
Yeah, no, hopefully. Obviously going on to the performances, most of them have only really been good in a half. If we're being honest, it's been quite a lot of games we were, 1-0 up at times, but yeah, keeping that whole consistency, you could say, of the whole game has been a bit of an issue for us in either half, really, at points this season. But yeah, obviously, the score prediction for me, I've been saying it for weeks. I'll take a draw away at Bournemouth and then, try and, as we were saying, try and capitalise on that home game against them. And the good thing for us as well is a lot of the games coming up, at home are the massive games, at home, Kenilworth Road. Can we really do what we know we can do there and make it difficult for teams? Obviously, we've got Bournemouth to play in Forest on the weekend, Everton still, they're the games we need to picking up points. So as for me, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in tomorrow's game. And yeah, like I say, I would take that definitely. And then, like I say, obviously we would be 2 points beyond Forest going into that game. But yeah, that game is gonna be a crazy. That could even be potentially, even though we still got to play, Everton and that could be, a game we look back on and it decides what team stayed up out of them two sort of thing. We shall see. But yeah, other score predictions. Jackie's going for a 2-2. Morris and Hashioka, yeah, obviously we'll do goal scorers as well. But yeah, 2-2, that'd be nice. That's another prediction I've seen going around the place as well. Paul's on the same wavelength as you, Dad. He has also gone with a 2-1 to Luton. But yeah, do get any goal scorers as well. But yeah, Morgan, who do you see scoring for Bournemouth? And you can even do our goal scorer if you want.
Can I? Oh, well, for Bournemouth, I think he'll be upset with himself for not getting on the score sheet the other day. So Dominic Solanke, I think, will net against you guys. And for you guys, it's a difficult one. I want to say your main man, but he won't be. He's not featuring, is he?
Elijah, no.
So I'm going to go with Ross Barkley or maybe Townsend for you guys. I think them two characters, Ross Barkley, with all due respect, a few years ago were looking like a bit of a lost sheep. And Townsend, when he was doing his punditry, I think he had a long-term career injury, didn't he? Or something to get him out of the game for a while. But I'm so pleased for you guys that you've got a bit of experience and two players that show you a lot of fight and determination, and that's so important. And I think there were worse sides. What I want to say is I think there were worse teams in this league than you guys. I think you guys as a squad and your togetherness is impeccable. Where you look at likes of Sheffield United without being disrespectful, and then seeing them almost getting a red card for one of their two players fighting on the same team in a game. So they look in a lot worse place than you guys. I think you guys might just be about okay. It's obviously a long way to go. Final 10, got about 10 or 11 games left, I believe. And I think Luton are a great side, and I really hope you guys stay up because I want you guys. You kind of be on a similar journey to AFC Bournemouth, so it feels like we're telling the same story, and I think it would just be amazing. I like Rob Edwards too much for him to go down. So he's got to keep he's a master character, and the way he talks, his application, his philosophy, his identity. I couldn't say enough nice words about your manager. I wish we had him at times. No, I don't. I like Andoni, but if Andoni ever moves on, maybe I'll come and ask you guys if we can borrow Rob Edwards.
Yeah, no, thank you, appreciate that. But yeah, no, absolutely, I think the same, and that determined grit, and I personally, I've been saying it, I do think as much as I say about these games, at home, it's good for us to try and capitalise. I do believe it still will probably come down to the final day. I think it might be similar for, when we played Reading a couple of seasons ago, obviously out to go up, where, or get playoffs, shall I say. This is obviously to stay up, and I could see it being something similar like that. Hopefully by then Fulham are sort of mid-table as well, nothing to really play for, and I think that might benefit us as well. But we shall see. But yeah, goal scorers. So yeah, there's that done. Dad, your goal scorer, your 2 for us, and you can do
Morris and Barkley, nice. And then Solanke definitely.
Yeah.
When I saw that he got 2, he missed a penalty and he got a goal disallowed as well. I was thinking, third time lucky. I think he's going to probably definitely score. If we can mark him, keep him out of the game, then obviously we'll have a great chance. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be difficult with our makeshift defence that we've had to keep doing. But yeah, I do think he will get their goal. As for our goal, I'm going to go Morris. You know, I feel he will kick on, and like I said earlier, hopefully he does. Yeah, especially going into that game, obviously against Nottingham Forest as well. That'll be massive. And I did watch an interview. He done an interview earlier, you know, leading up to this game, and obviously he said as much as an honour as it is to obviously take the armband, obviously, you know, like he has, and especially, you know, for this game with obviously the situation, you know, really close with Lockyer, as we all know. So yeah, I'm going to go with Morris. I'm going to go Morris to get our goal in the 1-1 draw. Big up to Lewis in the chat. He says, "Evening, lads. Hope how are you? Hope you're all okay. Yep, good. Thanks, mate. Hope you're well." He's also gone with a 1-1. Solanke and Morris. So literally, we're on the same wavelength there. And I'll tell you right now, I did not read that. I generally just see that all now. So big up to yourself. Paul has gone Barkley and Morris to get the goals as well. So a lot of them shouts for that. But Morgan, thank you again, mate, for coming on. Just let the people know a bit more about the Back of the Net podcast and where they can find you as well.
Yeah, thanks, lads, for having me on. Really appreciated the invitation. Really enjoyed it. Hope you have as well. Yeah, it's an AFCB podcast on YouTube. We just had a preview show released within the last 15 or 20 minutes since I came on air. So that's out. So if any Hatters fans want to watch that, that's available on YouTube at AFCB Podcast. Thursday morning, the day after the game, we'll have a match day vlog. If any fans at full time that are traveling want to go and have a chat with Sam, they do fan camps down. It's about 500 yards from main reception. There's a little corner called Cherry Orchard, I think it is, outside the old 1910 bar. There's a video that goes up straight after full time. So if anyone Hatters fans want to come and have a chat, more than welcome. We'll see if we can get you on quite quickly so you don't have to miss you travel home or can get off home quite quickly. And then you also got for a bit later on in the season when we come over to your place, we'll have an away day show where we'll review Kennetham Road, the parking, what the food was like, what the concourse was like, and all that. And that's also the final 10 kind of second look diving into the game that should be about at the end of around probably Friday, maybe next week. So lots of content. There's also a TikTok that Ben runs that on AFCB podcast on TikTok, so go and follow that. And there's also an audio podcast as well. So there's lots of content, Premier League, and you might find interesting as well.
Yeah, there you go. And obviously I'll put the channel in the title, people, so do do check it out. Obviously subscribe and all of that. And yeah, no, we definitely will. You know, obviously, is a massive part of that, so I can't see why not. We just have to sort of, you know, we will have to accept it. You know, in that sense. You know, so we shall see what happens there. Big up to Spencer. We are literally about to wrap up, mate. Big up to yourself, mate, as always. And yeah, as for us on this channel, obviously we will be doing a vlog from home, but a midweek vlog from home, Dad. I don't think we've ever done that, if I'm being totally honest. So, you know, the last one was I'm not saying it's going to be like this, but obviously the last midweek game was that one against Brighton, which is a bit like, whoa, and I was a bit gutted that I didn't do one in the end. So, going to do one, you know, going to do one there. And then obviously we'll do a hat show again on Friday reacting to this. And then obviously we'll get a preview for the Nottingham Forest game. Dawn Tour will be coming on the channel again. And I will be going on this channel on Thursday, by the way, people, 10 p.m. So do obviously check that out. I'll put it out on the community post on Thursday. So you can check it out through there. And yeah, obviously we'll be back again, another vlog from home as well on Saturday. So they're going to keep racking when it comes there. And obviously we'll sort of arrange a hat show to react. And then, you know, we'll look at the games and the schedule and that type of thing when it comes to that. Yeah, smash a like if you haven't already. Would be much appreciated. And yeah, I know a lot of people watch back on playback, so obviously smash a like there. Do subscribe as well to the channel if you haven't already. We are getting closer to 1,900, so do obviously do that as well. Do subscribe to the extra channel. Big up to everyone that's watched that. A lot of views on the last couple of videos. So yeah, really do appreciate that. Obviously, link to that is in the description. And follow me across my socials as well. Obviously, TikTok, Instagram, all of it's down there, even Twitch. pull up with a gaming streaming every now and then. So do check them out as well. And yeah, until tomorrow for the vlog from home, we will see you in a bit. And again, thank you again, Morgan, for coming on, mate. And until next time, take care and peace.